When it comes to late-night television, there are only certain people that come to mind. To the greats of late-night television, like Johnny Carson, David Letterman, Conan O'Brien, Jay Leno, and even Jimmy Fallon. But out of all of these great hosts, which one did the best out of everything? From desk segments to remotes, to even primetime specials that ended up being a spectacular.
Ladies and gentlemen, here's tonight's top.
Did you just boo me?
Tonight, starring Steve Allen, with Edie Gourmet, Steve Lawrence, Pat Marshall, Andy Williams, the music of Skitch Henderson. Boy, we've been making last-minute changes around here.
The year 1954. Television had become a huge deal around the United States. With extensive amount of live transmissions around the world, it was quite a joy for people to witness it. During the time, the National Broadcasting Company, also known as NBC, had been dealing with some negotiations on putting on a nighttime program since they had nothing else to air between the hours of 11:30 and 2 in the morning. Since at that time, NBC had such success with the Today Show, they wanted to have a show for nighttime. NBC had struggled to get someone to host the show, but had no success for about a few months. And then, Steve Allen showed up on September 28, 1954.
Somebody stole the beer. I can see right now what our big problem is going to be. It's going to be explaining every single joke. That's a New York joke. I'm sorry, I didn't plan it. We are sponsored locally for 15 minutes before we come on the network to all you people. And we're sponsored by a beer. And I don't want to say they don't trust me, but I leave a half a glass of beer around. As soon as they stop paying the bill, zip, it's back in the bottle, you know?
Steve had been hosting a late-night radio show at the time and was pretty clever at it. NBC immediately contacted Steve and got him to do the 11:30 time slot, right after the local news programming, which would go on at 11 o'clock in the Eastern Time. The Tonight Show was live, and it was well received by millions of people watching in the whole country. Finally, after serving 4 years at The Tonight Show, Steve decided to quit hosting the show due to the fact that doing a show 11:30 every weeknight live was just too much for him. He then signed off as host of The Tonight Show on January of 1957.
There's one more technique.
But there's the sneaky Johnny Wilson technique.
You wouldn't... oh, I see.
Kind of go like
Hey, right.
this, and you go...
Johnny Wilson, you're going to get it tonight.
He was really hip and funny.
We're going to pass out bars of soap. We'll all take a community shower right now.
But it wasn't until NBC found another replacement for the 11:30 time slot. His name was Jack Paar.
National Broadcasting Company and its affiliated stations from coast to coast present the new Tonight, starring Jack Paar. And it's all live from New York.
Senator from Massachusetts, Mr. John Kennedy. Because if you make it, it would be nice for my daughter to know that.
It was July 29, 1957. NBC had hired Jack Parr to be the new host of The Tonight Show. Adding a new host to this hour of the night meant changes, starting with the name of the show. NBC would later change the name, which used to be NBC's Tonight, and would soon be called Tonight, starring Jack Parr.
Listen, I have something to say tonight. We want to welcome a new sponsor. Now, that doesn't seem much to you. But you see, a show like this is considered controversial. It's hard to get sponsors sometimes, and I deny that we're controversial. Everybody's on the show. And anyhow, we're happy that we have this new sponsor. And we're proud to announce tonight that we have a new sponsor, and it is the makers of razor blades.
It is thanks to we honor and salute Jack Parr for his run on The Tonight Show, because he turned the show into what it is today. The format of the whole set was added because of Jack Parr. He added the desk, the microphone, the chair for the guest to sit on, as well as the couch, and even invented segments of the show, like having a small monologue, a short segment before bringing out the first celebrity guest, and all things that The Tonight Show has currently going on today. He made it a talk show. Behind the scenes was a difficult story.
I see your holster's beginning to show, dear. She's armed. Oh,
I'll have you know.
What are you doing there? Watch you start an avalanche. Watch it there. How's the suit coming with Mr. Hoffa? He and I are being sued for $250,000. I hope you have your half, incidentally. I may have trouble coming up with mine, but you have yours.
What do you think? Much more than that.
Much more than a quarter? Much more than $250,000?
I think it's 4 or 5.
Yeah, and
so you have to come up with 2.5.
Aren't you worried about it?
No, are you?
Well, you have all the evidence. I mean, you don't share the evidence. You just share the suit. That's all you do. I'm leaving The Tonight Show. There must be a better way of making a living than this. You have been peachy to me always.
Here's Jack!
As I was saying before I was interrupted, I believe my last words were that there must be a better way of making a living than this. Well, I have looked.
Despite the success and the huge save that Parr made on the show, he called it quits again on March 30th, 1962. NBC now came back to the beginning. They needed to find someone else to replace and get on the 11:30 time slot. And then, there came Johnny.
October 1st, 1962 is a day I'll always remember. I was 36 years old, taking my place as host of America's most popular late-night program, The Tonight Show.
From New York, Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. This is kind of an emotional thing for me because I've known about this show for a long time. And the newspapers and the magazines, and I've probably been interviewed 150 times in the last 9 months since I've known about this. As I say, you work up to it. We come over here this afternoon. We meet the guests that are on the show. And you get kind of charged up. I don't mean to be maudlin about it. But I know that tonight a lot of people, a lot of my friends are watching all over the country. And I only have one feeling as I stand here knowing that so many people are watching. I want my Nana.
Well, I made it through that first night with the help of Groucho Marx, Rudy Valley, Joan Crawford, Tony Bennett, and Mel Brooks. I could never have imagined I would walk through that curtain almost 5,000 times in 30 years.
What is this trick on? It's on it.
Relax. They say if you look an animal right in the face and talk to them, then they know you're not scared. It's a heavy snake. What does it weigh, about 50, 60 pounds?
He weighs about, yeah, he weighs about...
If only in real life.
Would you welcome Robin Williams?
Certainly. Okay, thank you. Don't be afraid. It's not, the sores went away.
Simplex 2, is it? Or one or two?
A real man can stand up to herpes.
You're a beach person. You've got a house on the beach, haven't you?
Yeah, but I don't have electric gate. I don't have 4 guys out front. I don't shoot the birds when they come.
Well, get out of here.
You don't know about clothes. You're from Nebraska.
What are you
have
talking
8
about?
guys say, that looks good, Johnny. You go, honest to God.
Dropped in because I come to wish you a happy anniversary, but it seems to me it's impossible for you to have an anniversary. You've only been married 7 months.
Welcome to the club. Karnak has answered a 100-yard dash.
And now the question.
That's right. Now the question. What happens after you eat a 100-yard prune?